I think for the case of Vietnam, we noted the situation in early February, and at that time we start to consult the different stakeholders, including foreign investors, about what we should do. And I think during February, when we start to change the situation toward social distancing and things like that, the situation was not really serious. And at that time there was some view that we could manage it within 1 month. But starting from March, you've seen that, I mean, a number of the global situation has deteriorated, and the same thing in Vietnam. And at that time, a number of foreign travelers coming back from overseas also bring in the incidents, and that also lead us to come to the second phase. And I think so, and after about 6 to 7 weeks, we start to control the situations. And at this stage, I think the number of cases in Vietnam was just about over 330. But in the last 2 months, we have no new cases from the community. We only have new cases from those coming back from overseas, but not within the domestic community. So there could be some. At this stage, the government is now pushing on with the plan toward 2 things. On the one hand, we try to keep our blank sheet. So we hope to be able to achieve the statistic of 0 death. I think it's and also another. And at this stage there is no death cases, and we want to keep these statistics as long as we can. And the second thing is, along with the health prevention and the combating the virus, we also aim to recover the domestic economy. So we want to proceed to the plan to promote economic recovery of the domestic sector, and that. And for that, I think Vietnam is given our relative success in combating the COVID. We've been in a better position than other countries in the region to get back to economic recovery, and we start to see that our fundamental requirements with the domestic economies are still there. We still have to focus on fundamental reforms in terms of the legal infrastructure, in terms of the market economies, in terms of the competition issues, and also in terms of preparing for the FTAs. And so, about the next bit is about some of the potential areas for Vietnam and Taiwan collaboration in this post-COVID-19 context. So first, I think the environmental technology and facility is still very important. Of course, when people talk about COVID-19, they talk about health, they talk about other types of social aspects. But apart from that, I mean, the environmental aspect should not be underestimated. And for that, I think environmental aspect should not be considered as part of the some sort of like side effect of the economic activities. Instead, I think the lessons from Taiwan and the lessons from our collaboration in the past years shows that environment industry is a sector by itself. So it is an industry that can generate the profit. And we recall that after the Formosa incidents in Vietnam, the Taiwanese investor in Vietnam start to have a new motto that is very catchy. They say that the standards of their environmental facilities in Vietnam is even higher than those in Taiwan themselves. I think that's a very good motto and a very, very catchy to the authority, and that also shows the responsibility of Taiwanese investors. But apart from that, if the domestic investors in Vietnam are aware of this, this could be a huge market for environmental technologies and facilities. And the second aspect is the electronic. Of course, we've seen the trend of foreign investors coming out from other countries in the end, and which may divert the operations of the electronic supply chain. And Vietnam is generally considered as one of the major substitute for this in this context. And so electronic is can be one area that is important. But I think when we talk about electronics, it's not just about the smartphones and things like that. But there could be, but the electronic itself can be the supporting industries in other sectors. For example, the automobile industries in Vietnam that is gaining more attention now. So if we can work more on electronics, then that could provide the inputs to the automotive sector itself. But given that the new context, the supply chain would be shorter, and the investors are not going to divert away from China, for example. They are not coming out from China completely, but instead they want to diversify. And in this context, this should leave Vietnam together with the foreign investor in Vietnam with some new consideration there. And I think with the advantage of Taiwanese investors in terms of having the linkage with those from Japan, with those from Korea, and the connection with the one in Vietnam, I think that there's some chance for us to work together in this sector. 5G is also important. I have to say that before this year, the talk about 5G was quite sensitive, given that the US and China are quite divided over the 5G issue. But at this stage, during the COVID-19, everyone start to see that 5G is unavoidable. It's just a matter of choosing the technologies, but eventually we have to get to the 5G, and that is very important for us to consider. And for that one, I think that it should not leave with just like the digital transformation of the enterprises. The government has to move faster in terms of the transforming itself to the e-government and digital government. And for that, we need a number of smart applications, smart cities, and things like that to help with it. And I think this is one of the areas that Vietnam and Taiwan can work as well. So I think with that, I would like to end my presentation here. Thank you very much.